Rising Grand. How's everyone this morning? I'm doing lovely. This is just a quick pop in. I'm probably not going to be on here no more than probably about 10 minutes, but I just wanted to share something with you guys because it's on my mind. What the day is? May 18th, which is number 9 in numerology. Okay, so here I have something. It's called Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich, right? Okay, so what I've been doing is I've been reading this book, and yeah, it was something interesting that I wanted to share with you guys. What was it? Let's see. Lack of willpower. Last was credited. No, it was. I was reading it the other day. What is your right? This is what I was reading right here. I'm trying to find it now. So, this is it. It says page 85, organized planning. It says the wages of sin is death. Many have read this in the Bible, but few have discovered its meaning. Now, for several years, the entire world has been listening by force to a sermon, which might well be called whatsoever a man soweth, that shall he also reap. Nothing as widespread and effective as the depression could be. Possibly. Hold on, I'm going to read that again. Nothing as widespread and effective as the depression could possibly be. Just a coincidence. Behind the depression was a cause. Nothing ever happens without a cause. In the main, the cause of the depression is traceable directly to the world wide habit of trying to reap without sowing. I'm going to read that again. Nothing ever happens without a cause. In the main, the cause of the depression is traceable directly to the worldwide habit of trying to reap without sowing. Reaping without sowing. Y'all, I'm just reading a couple of pages from Think and Grow Rich, just to put some on you guys' mind early this morning before you get started with your day, or to help you, focus within your day. Take up Brent. But yeah, that's not Brent. This should not be mistaken to mean that the depression represents a crop which the world is being forced to reap without having sown. The trouble is that the world sowed the wrong sort of seed. Any farmer knows he cannot sow the seed of thistles and reap a harvest of grain. Right. Beginning at the outbreak of the World War, the people of the world began to sow the seed of service inadequate in both quality and quantity. Nearly everyone was engaged in the pastime of trying to get without giving. See, nearly everyone was engaged in the pastime of trying to get without giving. Once again, I am reading from Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich, Organized Planning. These illustrations are brought to the attention of those who have personal service to market to show that we are where we are and what we are because of our own conduct. I'm going to read that again. This illustration is brought to the attention of those who have personal services to market to show that we are where we are and what we are because of our own conduct. If there's a principle of cause and effect that control business, finance, and transportation, this same principle controls individuals and determines their economic status. It says, what is your QQS rating? And it's finna explain what a QQS rating is. The cause of success in marketing services effectively and permanently have been clearly described. Unless those causes are studied, analyzed, understood, and applied, no man can market his services effectively and permanently. Every person must be his own salesman or personal service. The quality and the quantity of service rendered and the spirit in which it is rendered determines to a large extent the price and the duration of employment. To market personal services effectively, which means a permanent market at a satisfied price under pleasant conditions, one must adapt and follow the QQS formula, which means that quality plus quantity plus the proper spirit of cooperation equals perfect salesmanship of service. Remember, the QQS formula, but do more. Apply it as a habit. I'm going to read that again. It says, remember the QQS formula, but do more. Apply it as a habit. Let us analyze the formula to make sure we understand exactly what it means. Okay, number one, quality of service shall be constructed to mean the performance of every detail in connection with your position in the most effective manner possible, with the object of greater efficiency always in mind. Number two, quantity of service shall be understood to mean the habit of rendering all of the services of which you are capable at all times with the purpose of increasing the amount of service rendered as greater skill is developed through practice and experience. Emphasis is again placed on the word habit. Number three, spirit of service shall be construed to mean that habit of agreeable, harmonious conduct which will induce cooperation from association and fellow employees. Now, see, the reason why I'm reading this is because I read this the other day and I said, oh my goodness, this would be something good to share, on my YouTube channel, amongst others. This is why I put so much emphasis on, businesses, not businesses, but business mindset when you in a relationship, because it's an even give and take. Now that's the most takeaway thing that I want people to remember, is when you dealing with, hey, I didn't even know, I'm just sitting here talking, hey, how you doing, what is that? I cannot pronounce that. I wish I knew how. I'm gonna try my best. It looked like, I can't even pronounce it if I wanted to. Hey though, I appreciate you joining the live. But what I was talking about is why I put so much emphasis on having a business mindset when you enter a relationship, because it's some things that it's gonna require of you that you probably don't have the know-how. But that's not the word I was looking for. You know how people got to have a certain type of personality. They got to have certain attributes. That's what I'm looking for, attributes. You got to have certain attributes in order to deal with a particular type of mindset. So if that person don't have that particular mindset and they're interacting with this particular person, it's not gonna last, because they gonna feel small, they gonna feel dumb, they gonna start coming up with a lot of self-sabotaging thoughts within their own mind, but then they're gonna look out, to the next person and believe that it's them making them feel that way. But it's them, because they don't know themselves. They don't know what they don't know about themselves. They thinking that long as I show up, long as I be living, long as I just be a great person, that this gonna go well. That's not how it works. I used to think the same way, but that's not how it works. But anyway, I'm going to read number 3 again. It says, the spirit of service shall be construed to mean the habit of agreeable, harmonious conduct which will induce cooperation from associates and fellow employees. Adequacy of quality and quantity of service is not sufficient to maintain a permanent marker for your service. The conduct of the spirit in which you deliver service is a strong determining factor in connection with both the price you receive and the duration of employment. Andrew Carnegie stressed this point more than others in connection with his description of the factors which led to success in the marketing of personal service. Right, personal service. He emphasized again and again the necessity for harmonious conduct. He stressed the fact that he would not retain any man, no matter how great the quantity or how efficient the quality of his work, unless he worked in a spirit of harmony. Hello, is that the same person? I think it is. Um, to prove that, okay, let me read that again. He stressed the fact that he would not retain any man, no matter how great the quantity, or how efficient the quality of his work, unless he worked in a spirit of harmony. This is a thing that people be, misunderstanding. If there is no harmony, if you dealing with a person and if y'all not like-mindedness, y'all not gonna get far within, this rendezvous. Y'all ain't gonna make it far. I keep putting the emphasis on that because it's very important for a person to know who they are so they can put themselves in the right environment and, stop allowing themselves to self-sabotage themselves due to the fact that they're believing that there's something that they're not, and they only humiliate themselves because they don't have the wisdom to understand what they do not know about themselves. Once you start learning things about yourself, then you will be able to better, understand human behavior about others, and how to interact socially with others, because that's what it's about too. You interacting socially with others. But anyway, it said Mr. Carnegie insisted upon men being agreeable to prove that he placed a high value upon this quality. He permitted many men who conformed to his standards to become very wealthy. Those who did not conform, why do I say that word wrong? Conform, had to make room for others. The importance of a pleasing personality has been stressed because it is a factor which enables one to render service in the proper spirit. If one has a personality which pleases and renders service in a spirit of harmony, these assets often make them these assets often make up for deficiencies in both the quality and quantity of service one renders. Nothing, however, can be successfully substituted for pleasing conduct. Nothing, however, can be successfully substituted for pleasing conduct. Call me. See, here we go, yeah. Here we go. Well, I don't even know what time it is. I have nothing. I'm on the live. It says the capital value of your service. I'm going to read a little bit more. And I got to see what my mama wants. The person whose income is derived entirely from the sale of a personal service is none less of a merchant than the man who sells commodity. It might well be added such a person is subject to exactly the same rules of conduct as the merchant who sell merchandise. This has been emphasized because the majority of the people who live by the sale of personal service make the mistake of considering themselves free from the rules of conduct and the responsibility attached to those who are engaged in marketing commodities. Good morning. Hey, Chris. The new way of marketing service has practically forced both employer and employee into a partnership alliance, through which both take into consideration the rights of the third party, the public they serve. The day of the go-getter has passed. He has been supplanted by the go-giver. Go-getter versus the go-giver. High-pressure methods in business finally blew the lid off. There will never be the need to put the lid back on because in the future, business will be conducted by method that will require no pressure. The actual capital value of your brains may be determined by the amount of income you can produce by marketing your services. A fair estimate of the capital value of your service may be made by multiplying your annual income by 16 and 2/3. Excuse me, as it is reasonable to estimate that your annual income represents 6% of your capital value. Money rents for 6% per annual. Money is worth no more than brains. It is often worth much less. Competent brains, if effectively marketed, represents a more desirable form of capital than that which is required to conduct a business dealing in commodities. Because brains are a form of capital. Y'all heard that. Brains, meaning mindsets, are a form of capital which cannot be permanently depreciated through depression, nor can this form of capital be stolen or spent. Your mindset. Moreover, the money which is essential for the conduct of business is a worthless. I'm going to read that again. Moreover, the money which is essential for the conduct of business is as worthless as a sand dune until it has been mixed with efficient brains. So, you guys, mindset is very important, because if you don't understand what type of personality you dealing with, you're not gonna understand how you self-sabotaging yourself, how you wasting time with a particular individual that y'all just not compatible. Because that's what it's about in business, and friendship, and romantic relationships. It's about compatibility, and you cannot fake that. You can't force it. All you can do is show up as your authentic self, and that itself is going to reveal if this is the opportunity or the space for you, at this moment in time in your life, with who you are. Because you cannot fake who you are. You have to be who you are in order to get, the results that are for you, not the results that you believe you need to get, but you only get the results based upon your identity. The identity, the personality that you are representing yourself within society or relationships or whatever it may be. But with that said, you guys, I'm about to get to wrap this up because it's getting mighty hot in this core, and I have on no AC, and I have to get my mind together to start my morning, and that's what it's gonna be. Yeah, I have a whole process of how I get my mental right, because I have to deal with so much throughout the day when it comes to when it comes to other people, you know, uh, mindset, or when it comes to other people, period. Just dealing with other people and them not understanding that things are happening due to us not being fully aware. But anywho, I strayed off real quick. I digress. Yes, I do. I digress. I strayed off big time. Yes, I did. Because I was talking about how I have to get my mind right, before I started interacting with people, because it becomes so much, especially when people thinking they can dominate you. That's what I meant to say. When other people think they have so much authority over your mind, that they can tell you any and everything, and you just supposed to be just this fucking follower. That's what I was talking about, really. So that's why I have to get my mind right, because when you in somebody else's environment, meaning as far as a job, or when you in a public place, you just you have to keep yourself intact, due to how to interact with people, you know, as an adult. But I don't want to say as an adult, just as you just understanding that this is the respectful thing to do when you are socializing with people. I'm getting off topic again, ain't it, y'all? Good Lord. How am I doing it? But anyway, we was reading from, let me show y'all what we was reading from. We was reading from this book, Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich, which is this is a very, very, very great book to have in order to, get acquainted with yourself, in order to, start to think bigger in order to just get new perspective on, where you want to, you know, where you want to, where you want to, be in your life within the next 5 years and things of that sort. I'm gonna just say that. Man, my mind is all over the place now. Lord have mercy, Jesus. Anywho, y'all have a beautiful, beautiful days. I'm going to end this live, and maybe I will be back later. I'm not sure. This was just a quick pop in, like I said, and I'm out.